how does understanding someone's cognitive functioning help to set realistic expectations?
So, sadly, Miriam, I think, Travis County is not unique. I think much like what happened here, unfortunately, children died, or, where there were allegations that the system really sort of failed them, and that was true here in Travis County. And when that happened here, it really caused everybody to look at how children were handled by the criminal justice system in a very different way. And so, interestingly enough, here, I don't know if this is true everywhere else, but we knew if we wanted to get everybody to come to the table, we needed to provide food. And, getting everyone around the table and talking about how we can do this differently really wasn't an easy process. We were not used to working together. And there were, turf wars, for lack of a better word, in how the various agency partners learned how to interact with each other. And I think it was really, more than anything, us really sort of working out all of those issues, and, from all of the different agency partners, including some of the early center staff, them moving on to do different things, and new people coming in and not knowing any better, that really set the groundwork for, okay, here's how we're going to do things. Yeah.
And I think it's, it's important when we talk about relationships to understand where our template comes from. And so when we talk about relationships, when we talk about a work environment, we're talking about people coming together to work particular cases for a common good. But people come with their own set of issues and their own histories and relationships, and they bring that with them, even though the expectation is that they don't. And so when you think about that in terms of where templates of relationships come, what kinds of things have you all seen in working with teams, and what have been the challenges, and how does understanding a template help you be able to work within that area to help people become better at what they do?
I'm thinking about it just from kind of multiple perspectives, having been a CPS investigator here in Travis County, and, working and seeing some of the stuff that Mike talked about earlier of having, challenges, not trusting the police officers that I was working with to really building that trust. And now, so many years at the CAC, and continually building, those relationships, I feel like my job now and the position that I am in is, to my clients are our agency partners, so that we can continue to foster those relationships so that it is an easy relationship for an interviewer and a detective to communicate, an interviewer and a DFPS worker, a caseworker to communicate, or for the three of those, all of those agencies to come together, because it's a constant learning opportunity for all of us to work on that. Everybody, the field is constantly turning over. And so I think it's something that we all have to work on so that we can work to make the correct decisions for families.
Yeah, I think I remember points of time when we were all siloed.
Yes.
Where we all had not only siloed with CAC, law enforcement, DFPS, but siloed in our center, where we had marketing over here and clinical over here and forensic interviewers over here, and nobody knew really what the other people were doing. And when that happened, we struggled, I think, a lot with at least clinically we did, in trying to find our footing. But once we understood this whole idea of how you have to have relationships with other people, you cannot do this work without having a relationship. If DFPS is coming in our building, we have to have a relationship with them. It's, if we're the invited guests, they're also our invited guests.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to be able to do that, because if we don't, then ultimately what suffers are our families.
I sometimes feel like I'm a mediator of sorts. If I'm at a case staffing and helping, before a forensic interview, and I have a detective, a caseworker, a family advocate, an interviewer, a prosecutor, helping everybody to make sure that they're all feeling heard,
Right.
so that, again, we can move in the right direction for families.
I think you're a great bridge builder in that space, right? And that we know about even trauma, whether it be our workforce trauma or our workforce's trauma or our family's trauma, is that healing is in relationship, and moving forward is that we have to meet people where they're at. So as this cycle of new staff come in, we also have to recognize that they don't have the years of experience that we've had in evolving the work, but they benefit from imparting that knowledge of quickly bringing them up to speed to where the shifts are made. And I think I've seen a lot of that growth in the work that's been done with the center.
It's interesting because when COVID occurred, it provided a great case study for us in the power of relationship, because unfortunately we couldn't be there together like we were before. And even though at that point in time we had 28, 29 years of the team working together, you could pretty early on start to see cracks in the dam, because that we weren't there working on the relationships on a regular basis. And I think it's one of the first things when we finally got all back together that, I really wanted us all to focus on, to rebuild those bridges, that connection that we had lost as a result of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that once that blueprint was kind of set, and not to say that it doesn't evolve over time and get better and better, but once that blueprint was set, it makes it much easier when you have new employees from any department that come in to be a part of the team, to help them understand what their role is, number one, and what the other team members, what their roles are and how they interact with things. Beyond that, it just becomes a lot about teaching them, what the limitations and restrictions are of their counterparts with the other agencies, because sometimes that's where the frustration lies. And so getting them to understand, the reason they have to move, more quickly on the CPS side of this is because there's a mandate by the family court because of a removal or something along those lines.
Well, I think it's that overall understanding that we work together better as a team than we do individually. And after 33 years, we know that that's what we're teaching.
I mean, that is part of bringing people in and building relationships and kind of moving past the stuff.
Yeah.
And so as we move forward, we will talk now about this whole idea of stress